Health Department steps up fight against TB and malaria. PNG citizenship one step closer for West Papuans. Amateur video of policemen asking for bribe goes viral on social media.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
Good evening, it is Thursday and this is the news. Thank you for joining us. The fight to eradicate tuberculosis and malaria in Papua New Guinea has not stopped. Health Secretary Pasco Kase said the department can now concentrate on the TB fight with its own budget of 8 million kina this year. He says the department is also trialling programs to eradicate malaria in the small islands of PNG before extending to other parts of the country.
In 2 weeks' time, a delegation from the Health Department and its partner, the World Health Organization, will visit Western Province to see how the fight against TB is progressing. Since Western Province has the highest prevalence rate of multi-drug resistant TB, Kase strongly suggested that doctors and nurses must be on the ground to do their job without any distraction.
Our strategy now is I don't want people to be visiting Western Province or Gulf Province wearing neckties or suits, but I want workers.
On that same note, control programs set up by the Health Department and extractive industries and plantations to eradicate malaria has already begun in Lihir Island. Such prevention methods include using treated mosquito nets and indoor spraying. Kase said that malaria is still a major challenge for PNG and the Health Department has more work to do.
Like things like malaria, for example, is one area that I think very good reductions in the incidences and cases of malaria in Papua New Guinea. And we want to build on that to make sure that we continue to sustain the achievements.
In general, Kase said the challenge to deliver excellent health service lie in the hands of the health workers, public hospitals and rural health services. He is also encouraging the provincial and local level government throughout PNG to do more awareness and support the work of the Health Department.
Our people are longing to receive services and no time to hide or to waste anymore. So we need to be upfront and deliver services to our people.
Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
Pasco Kase will serve for another 4 years as Secretary for the Department of Health. He was reappointed recently by the National Executive Council. Kase's vision for this year is for his staff to know their responsibilities and set their priorities right to achieve the government's objectives.
Which I accept, and I should thank everyone in the health department and the health sector for contributing to the success that resulted in this reappointment. But the important purpose for today is to tell everyone what our responsibilities are as the Health Department of Papua New Guinea. That Papua New Guinea has been used to hearing a lot of challenges in health. But I can tell you that over the last few years, under our new National Health Plan 2011-2020, many good things are starting to happen. But that doesn't mean that we don't have challenges. We still have many challenges.
United Nations Resident Coordinator in Papua New Guinea, Roy Trivedi, says the public service sector plays an important role for the country to meet its short-term development goals. Mr. Trivedi says whilst government is cutting costs in all sectors, it is vital to have public servants who have a good heart to bring services to the people.
The head of the United Nations in PNG says ordinary people's expectations of government services in health, education and infrastructure are increasing, but it is challenging to have a public service that can deliver. Mr. Roy Trivedi says the role of public servants in achieving the development goals is important.
Because whatever we want to achieve, whether it's the new Sustainable Development Goals or the Millennium Development Goals that preceded the SDGs, the importance of public servants and public service becomes absolutely vital.
With the current poor rating of PNG on the Corruption Perception Index, Mr. Trivedi says it can be improved if the public service is motivated and have a heart to drive change in the respective sector.
So having a highly motivated public service actually, and John Carley emphasized this really importantly, the importance of values is critical, and those values need to be driven by institutions but also held deeply in the hearts and of all public servants, that they want to do the right thing and they want to do it well and in the right way. So it's a really important part of addressing the corruption perception index as well.
Recently, the United Nations Development Programme, in collaboration with the government, brought in 2 international experts from the Global Center for Public Service Excellence. The 2 officers discussed with relevant authorities how they can improve the public service and also learn from PNG's experience. Mr. Trivedi says increased fortnightly pay and good working conditions are not the only solutions to improve the public service, but it is up to individuals to serve with their heart. Quinten Alom, National EMTV News.
West Papuans will soon be able to obtain Papua New Guinea citizenship if they wish, following the government's move to relax its policies. Among the barriers that prevented West Papuans from obtaining citizenship was a policy that demanded compulsory payment of 10,000 kina. The first step will be to register all West Papuans living in Papua New Guinea.
The deal between Australia and Papua New Guinea to have the offshore processing centres on Manus came with an arrangement that the residents of the centre, viewed as genuine refugees, would eventually be settled not in Australia but in a third country like Papua New Guinea. The arrangement brought forth a widespread public backlash, with Papua New Guineans asking why the government was responding quicker to an Australian-sponsored arrangement instead of dealing with the West Papuan refugee problem pending over the last 40 years. The government responded by setting up a refugee division a little over 18 months ago, the first such move since independence.
Papua New Guinea has just enacted and approved their national refugee policy on the 12th of October last year, and that policy has coverage for all refugees that come into Papua New Guinea.
The refugee division is now spearheading moves to address the backlog of refugee-related issues, including new cases created by the processing centre deal with Australia. In the coming months, the government will be registering West Papuans all over the country. It is estimated the West Papuan community number anything between 20 and 25,000.
It's long overdue for the West Papuans. West Papuans are not immigrants. They didn't come here looking for a better job, better lifestyle. No. West Papuans are refugees.
Given that we now have to attend to this issue because we have refugees under the regional resettlement arrangements with Australia, it has more or less prompted the government to have in place this policy, and I think it's a good first step that now the government has already decided to lift the 10,000 kina application fee for citizenship for refugees, and so West Papuans who are willing to be citizens can get citizenship.
In its role to meet the expectation of government policy, the Refugee Division is also managing a delicate public relations campaign. How do you get Papua New Guineans to accept a new wave of refugees from countries outside of Melanesia? Through a campaign that tries to win over the hearts and minds of people. For instance, the subtle campaign has released pamphlets like these, appealing to the strong sense of Christianity in Papua New Guinea. It also appeals to the Melanesian values of support and brotherhood. Also, the refugees in the pictures are mostly West Papuans. This is the first real move to recognize the West Papuan plight, but done in part for the convenience of Australia. Scott Waide, National EMTV News, Lae.
Police have recovered more than 4,000 kina that was stolen during a robbery at Lae's Morbe pharmacy on Tuesday. Police also got a hold of factory and homemade pistols that were used during the hold-up. The criminals took the pharmacy's money and escaped in a waiting dark blue 10-seater Land Cruiser. However, police were alerted within minutes and gave chase.
At about 1 p.m. on Tuesday, 10 armed men walked into this pharmacy. They held up the staff and customers and escaped on this dark blue 10-seater. From the city center, they turned right at the roundabout and headed along the road leading to the Engau Hospital. It was there that police gave chase. Past 4 Mile when the criminals opened fire on the pursuing police vehicles. Police did not open fire but kept on pursuing them. More than 8 shots were fired at police. The criminals saw that their getaway had been blocked off and turned into the St. Joseph Vocational School. There, the driver of the vehicle panicked and jumped out of the vehicle, which then crashed into a house at the back of the vocational school. The suspects jumped out of the vehicle and fled on foot whilst firing at the police. Police returned fire. They also believed most of the suspects may have received bullet wounds and other injuries but are still at large. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Ley.
Sea piracy is one of many outstanding problems that the Morobe provincial government is trying to manage, but it needs the full cooperation of all stakeholders. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru says they are willing to work with the police in order to address this matter. The provincial government needs to find out the plans and programs police may have to improve their capacity and ability to watch and be able to deal with sea piracy.
The provincial government still doesn't have a strategy to deal with increasing reports of sea piracy. Governor Kelly Naru says the government will need to have in place permanent programs, and police patrol boats is one solution. The provincial government will need to work with the police so that a water policing unit can be created.
Work with the police to basically get their side of the requirements of how they want this program to proceed, and then we will come in to assist. We have some budget in place for assistance in that area, and we are looking forward to working with police.
In 2015, there were numerous reports of boats being robbed in Morobe waters, and without a water police unit, police were not able to prevent armed robberies that happen out at sea. Brian Jack, who we spoke to this week, was a victim of sea piracy. He lost his 40-horse outboard motor when he was robbed. Like many other victims of sea piracy, Jack reported the incident to the police, but police were not able to catch the criminals. In this year's budget, the provincial government announced an allocation of 700,000 kina for law and order. Some of that money will be used to fight sea piracy, but that money is not enough to prevent sea piracy incidences in the coastal waters of Morobe. There needs to be a permanent solution rather than a temporary answer to the problem. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Ley.
You're with National EMTV News. On the other side of this break, a video of a police officer asking for bribes that's going viral on social media. Stay tuned for that and more local news. Welcome back to National EMTV News. The Morobe provincial government has limited funding put aside for disaster risk management within the province. Morobe Governor Kelly Naru says funding cuts from the national government will starve the provincial government's efforts to give drought relief assistance. Bethany Herman reports from Ley.
Morobe is a big province. The drought is taking its toll on the people. Places in Kabum district need more assistance. Relief supplies are slow to reach areas like Komba and Use LLG. The provincial head says there are plans to help the people, but funding will be a problem.
We've got funds allocated this year to manage the crisis, but we would also need assistance from other stakeholders, mainly from the national government.
Morobean communities were not adequately educated about food security practices. People would still have food to eat if they were. In Timini, an area prone to floods, they only learned food security measures and emergency drills last year. They had been victims of floods for many years until the International Office for Migration helped them create a plan to deal with the flooding risk.
But just because of the plan, they can identify their hazards, They can identify their hazards and tell us that we are at risk of this particular hazard, maybe flooding.
Provincial authorities have failed to help Morobian villages create disaster risk management plans to help the people become self-aware. Now that droughts and floods are occurring, people are seeking relief from the Morobe provincial government that's facing big funding cuts.
If we can deliver disaster relief to make the greatest number of people affected happy throughout the province, then we would have achieved our aim.
Morobe is a large province and authorities were never prepared for drought effects. Funding cuts from the national government means less money will be going into drought relief efforts. Last year, the provincial government allocated 1 million kina. In this year's budget, it only allocated 800,000 kina into various disaster relief efforts. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News, Leh.
An embarrassing video showing a traffic policeman in Port Moresby asking for a bribe from an expatriate driver is being circulated on social media, adding fuel to the public anger against the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary. The video was filmed from the dashboard of the expatriate's vehicle and records the conversation between the driver and the officer.
The video shows the police officer greeting the expatriate driver, believed to be Australian, at a roadblock. After greeting the driver and passengers, the officer asks about the registration of the vehicle and continues chatting about rugby league before asking for a bribe for himself.
I don't want to check the registration or whatever, even tire or anything. Policemen in here, Papua New Guinea, some of us are very good guys. Some of them are very idiot. They don't really know the meaning of the job that they perform.
Yeah, I know.
Or all these things. So I don't want to further we go details in that. At least this New Year, so I mean very indeed for a good heart. It's a present, so you can offer me a present. I mean I just want to go and have some stuff with my family. I just want, because I've told them to prepare some food and all these things. So I mean broke at the moment.
I don't have any money on me. I'm sorry.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I got nothing.
You can help me at least a bit.
No,
not to the fullest, but at least.
I don't have anything on me. I don't carry any cash for this reason.
It's New Year and can you offer me a present? I just want to have a few stubbies with my family. I've told them to prepare some food, the officer says in the video. The expatriate responded and told the officer he did not have any cash but was carrying bank cards with him. In what would make his commanders cringe, the officer goes further by asking the expatriate to go to the nearest ATM to withdraw money. The video runs for 1 minute and 30 seconds and shows what many drivers across Papua New Guinea face at police roadblocks. In recent months, the police command has taken steps to remove ill-disciplined police officers. In January, the National Capital District Metropolitan Superintendent Benjamin Turi announced that over 40 police officers have been suspended from a range of offences. While the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary works to weed out ill-disciplined officers, instances of bribery and corruption from those lower down the ranks continue unpunished. Thekla Gunga, National MTV News.
The Central Provincial Administration began the 2016 working year with handovers of the 4 district chief executive officers. Excluding the Abau District Administration, changes were seen in the heads of the districts for Rigo, Kairuku, Hiri and Goilala. The new changes are Titus Girau, CEO Goilala, Baru Morea, CEO Hiri, Paul Penaimo, CEO Kairuku District and Magini Raga, CEO for the Rigo District. Member for Kairuku Hiri, Peter Iso Aimo, said the position of CEO comes with great responsibility and is the key driver of goods and services within respective electorates. All formalities were witnessed by Acting Provincial Administrator Edward Kila and his 2 Acting Provincial Administrators Kila Gege and Tabu Vaira. Equipping police with appropriate tools is required to produce accurate statistics on crime rates and identify areas to conduct police operations. 6 Mile Police Station Commander Fred Barre made these remarks when receiving office equipment valued at 8,000 kina from Edarano today.
This is the first time a state-owned entity has assisted the station with office equipment, and PSC Barre described the presentation as timely and a boost for the station. This equipment include a computer set, a printer, and a refrigerator.
It will help us greatly in what we do and, of course, in the service we provide to our people. And through the usage of the facility that has been donated, it will help us to keep the government abreast of what's happening within our locality in terms of we giving the appropriate report on certain incidents that occur in our area of policing.
6 Mile Police have a small but important area of operation. It includes the domestic and international airport, a number of hotels, including a massive residential area. The station has over 30 police officers, and under Barre's supervision, officers police the area in an attempt to minimize petty crimes along the 6 Mile bus stop and market areas.
So this has been part of our community service obligation network that we support to the community in terms of specific needs. And this is one of our response to the request.
Thakla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Telefomin MP Solan Mirsim says the development challenges for his district in West Sepik province are far greater than those in others, but he is determined to deliver key projects to his people. The MP flew into his district on Monday and launched several projects, including the delivery of further relief supplies to drought-affected areas. Mirisim also announced that the Telefomin High School will receive over 5 million kina worth of infrastructure development this year.
Like most isolated districts throughout the country, delivering government services remains a challenge for Telefomin. Their isolation doubles the cost of delivery, which then affects the amount and quality of service they receive. For districts like Telefomin, this challenge is over 40 years old. Basic services like health, education and roads have been left with little government assistance. However, for the last 4 years, the district's Telefomin station has been slowly seeing some changes. Local MP Solan Mirisim believes the district has a long way to go in tangible development reaching all corners of Telefomin.
All service lo kam osem Telefomin. Emi no easy plahap. Love change come hurry up. Emi hot lo place. Now everybody taking time long. Something will come up.
During the week, the MP delivered and launched small projects at Yapsi LLG. He delivered a walkabout sawmill and a solar-powered IT and communication technology equipment for the remote Wauru community. Mirisim says these projects are part of his development strategy, where he believes the walkabout sawmill will empower the community to build proper health clinics, classrooms and also their own private homes. Meanwhile, the Telefomin High School will receive over 5 million kina worth of infrastructure development this year. Funds have been allocated from the district's 2016 DSIP budget, which will be released next month. Furthermore, additional relief supplies were distributed to drought-affected areas that are now facing the after effects of El Nino.
Mipla got close to 40 tons hagen. The government will still continue supporting Mipla. Only looks at this district, also most affected districts. Rain emi come down. Kasol still binatang wog kay taruna kau.
Stanley Over Jr., National EMTV News.
And now a look at the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3295 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, the kina was buying $0.3220 $0.4466 Australian dollars, €0.2874 euro and 37.73 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa and copra closed higher, while gold closed the day lower. Crude oil closed lower, while palm oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed at 113 points higher, the ASX closed 110 points lower, and the All Ordinaries closed 111 points higher. Yeah, with Thursday's news, we'll have more after these messages. Don't go away. Welcome back to the news. Agency-run schools are pleading for the national government to honor their commitment to providing tuition-free education for all children. While these schools are run by their respective agencies, they believe the government should be fair in the distribution of TFF funding in the light of the students' rights as Papua New Guinean children.
Schools run by private agencies are complaining of the shortfalls their agencies have to continuously compensate for because of the delay in the delivery of TFF funding. Section head of the Ka Memorial Primary School, Jethro Rabi, said the school only received 3/4 of the TFF funding and considered it unfair on their students as opposed to students in government-run schools. TFF funding deposited in their accounts can only partially cover the student population. He asked the government to follow through with their commitment to providing tuition fee-free education for all children.
Only 3/4 of the fund is dispersed to us, and the other quarter is not given, and that gives us a lot of burden as an agency school. We just look forward and we anticipate that the government will put the full 100% so that the school can continue and meet its target, both academically, infrastructure-wise, and the children can benefit 100%.
Rabi said at the moment the school is still charging agency fees to be able to equally provide basic learning resources for the entire school body.
And the learning resources are not adequate because we don't receive funds on time. Right now our students have received their books, but not all of them have received what is required of them. And that is a challenge for us.
Despite the shortage of learning resources, teachers remain committed to their duties with the little they are given.
With the delay of TFF fund, the teachers at Ka Memorial, we are committed. We see it's a challenge, but we see it's our duty to perform in classroom and do the best for our kids.
Melissa Gaviro, National EMTV News.
The University of Technology has been directed by the government to identify areas within its operations that it can cut to bring down its costs. Unitech is among other government universities that have been given until April to come back with an answer. Unitech's Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Ora Renagi, told MTV that the cuts will not affect academic programs as there are ongoing efforts to improve academic quality. He said non-essential areas will be identified, but money will be needed if they are to lay off staff. The Papua New Guinea Church-State Partnership Program is facing some funding challenges. These were discussed today during the Church Development Council meeting in Port Moresby. While all the partners value the potential of the partnership, release of funding and government processes remain huge challenges for them.
The major sponsor for this partnership has been the PNG government with an allocation of 25 million kina.
And the churches are fundamental in our communities, and because they're already doing a wonderful job in education and health, we're trying to make sure that these funds are focused in those areas through the existing programs they are doing. And the funding is apportioned based on the relative level of services each one is providing.
Partnership is very important because the churches have a human resource or the people, but they don't have funds to
step up in maintaining the facilities, at the same time provide ongoing services.
The meeting today was opened by the Planning Minister, who is the chair of the Church Development Council. The CDC oversees the partnership program. The meeting reviewed implementation reports from 2014 to 2015, which raised some funding issues with some of the partners.
The education check-in, it bounced back. So in the end, we received nothing at all from the government for 2014-15.
The meeting also heard that the secretariat that administers the program has not been receiving the funds it needed. Currently, the secretariat is hosted by the United Church.
We spent over 89,000 for year 2014 and 15, and we feel that it will stretch the limited resources that we have if we continue after May.
Minister Abel told MTV News that all this money that the United Church have used will be reimbursed and that the Anglican Church will finally receive their funds. Minister Abel also said government fundings towards this partnership has been reduced this year.
The program has been cut in 2016 to 10 million only because of budget constraints. Not that the government is not committed to this program, it's just that within the context of the budget pressure and cash flow pressure we have.
Sarah Aupong, National MTV News.
The rough terrains of Kompiam Ambum district has never made it easy for the construction of roads, but the district is breaking barriers with investing in machines to build main access points for its rural communities. Kompiam Ambum MP and Environment Minister John Pundari says the roads will bring economic opportunity for his people.
Kompiam Ambum district in Enga province is situated in one of PNG's most rugged terrains. Bringing government services such as health and education has not been easy for the district. Walking for miles to access government services has been an everyday thing for the people. The prioritizing of road construction has now seen connections of the Birip Waipai Lailam Road, Birip Waipai Yomanda and the Yomanda Yangis roads. Yesterday in Kompiam Station, the local MP John Pundari maintained that the roads will remain a key development for the district.
That is the reason why people are buying 5-ply excavator. We need more connection. We need more accessibility. Work must come up yet.
Economic activities are expected to rise as the district is building a major road connection from Kompiam to Mulbaya and to Medang.
Now we will link up with Medang. That is an important corridor. Connection to development by need, not only for Kompiam, but for the people of Enga as a whole.
The construction of trunk roads and feeder roads has also seen the building of schools, health centers and community halls. Other major roads for the district is the Birip Kompiam upgrading, which the contract has been signed, and the Ambum Road, which the district has tendered and cleared by CSTB and State Solicitor for sealing, but awaiting Works Minister Francis Awesa to take to NEC. Locals have also erased questions of political rivals and say government services must reach people who are in dire need. MP Pundari thanked the ONI-led government for funding the SIPs and commitments in building roads in the district.
You got direct intervention so development can come up now, Senisi can come up. For the first time, people are touching budget where our population is.
Jack Lapave, Junior National MTV News.
Turning abroad now, and the United States reported the first case of Zika virus in Texas this Tuesday. The mosquito-borne Zika virus is now being claimed to have links to transmission through sexual contact, according to Texas health officials. However, the Pan American Health Organization said more evidence is needed to confirm this.
A day after the World Health Organization declared a public health emergency, the United States reported the first known Zika virus infection on U.S. soil. The infection was reported in Texas by local health officials who claimed the virus was contracted through sex and not a mosquito bite. Zika had been thought to be spread by the bite of mosquitoes of the Aedes genus, so sexual contact as a mode of transmission would be a potentially alarming development.
With Zika, we don't know exactly how long someone can remain infectious, but in this case, as we understand it, someone had just gotten sick with Zika and that individual's sexual partner then developed Zika without a travel history. The CDC laboratory confirmed that both individuals do have recent Zika infection.
Dallas County Health and Human Services said it received confirmation of the case in Dallas from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The county department said on Twitter that the person was infected through sexual contact with someone who had traveled to Venezuela. The person infected did not travel to the South American country. The Texas Department of State Health Services was slightly more cautious in its assessment, saying in a statement case details are being evaluated, but the possibility of sexual transmitted from an infected person to a non-infected person is likely in this case. County authorities said there were no reports of the virus being transmitted by mosquitoes in the Texas county. Previously, international health officials had noted one case of possible person-to-person sexual transmission. But the Pan American Health Organization said more evidence was needed to confirm sexual contact as a means of Zika transmission. The medical literature also has one case in which the virus was detected in semen. Lorraine Gabina, MTV World News.
National MTV News goes for a short break, but we'll be back with all the action in Trukai Sports after these messages.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Following the departure of former Hunters and Kumul's captain Israel Eliab, the utility back who reigns from the Morbe and Eastern Highlands province, Noel Zemming, has been picked as the perfect replacement. While his captaincy responsibility is only for the match against the Penrith Panthers, Zemming's involvement with the team and leadership amongst the debutants has been a standout for coach Michael Maro.
His charisma almost infectious and his on-field presence a huge impact on the team's overall performance. Noel Zemming has been given the formidable task of filling in the role left behind by Israel Eliab as captain of the SP PNG Hunters. His only focus leading by example and paving the way forward for the junior Hunters who have recently joined the team.
We've been out for a while, so it's coming back to the training and ready for the game. It will be a really tough game for us because we have a lot of new boys in the team now, so it's really exciting. The boys are really looking forward for the game. There's been going on talking about it's up to the coach, but it's whoever's going to lead. We all ready as a team to support him.
While Zemming has been named to lead the team against the Panthers this weekend, that does not secure his role as captain. The coaching staff will see how he goes at his first gig as skipper, and following the game this weekend, a proper announcement will be made regarding the team's co-captains. Zemming was picked out of the Goroka Lahanis in the Intercity Cup and is the first Hunters player to surpass 100 points, a well-deserved milestone from a 5/8 to a regular impact player off the bench. Dion Kombeng, National MTV Sports.
26-year-old Koryak Upaiga hails from the Morbe province and is a Hekari United elite fullback turned striker. Following his departure from Wildgrace United in the NSL, Upaiga never imagined he'd be playing for Papua New Guinea's lead team in the semi-professional competition. The opportunities that have come and gone while playing football have been far greater than what he had expected.
When Koryak Upaiga took the chance to leave Wildgrace United in the early stages of the National Soccer League, he never thought playing for Hekari would have brought him this far. Oceania Champions League opportunities, a regular in the senior national team for Papua New Guinea, and a shot at the Club World Cup. The 26-year-old has gone where few Papua New Guineans have gone before.
Firstly, I wasn't interested in coming, but my coach, he just said I have to go because they are our sister team, so he wanted me to come. So I decided to come to Port Moresby to play for Hekari. I didn't think anything would go that far for me, but I thank God for where I'm now. I'm really pleased, and I think my family is at Hagen pleased with what I'm doing right now.
He started off his career playing as a defender, gradually moving into an attacking position, drifting out onto the flanks. He combined well with Solomon Islander Tutizamo Tanito for a devastating combination in 2015.
Playing alongside Tuti is very interesting. He knows where to pass, where to move for the next ball to receive. I love playing alongside Tuti.
Recently, it's been Jeremy Yasasa playing in his old position. As Upaiga, the man originally from Morbe but raised in the Western Highlands, has now been pushed up to the fore of Hekari's attack.
I think I proved the coach when we played Besta Cup, where there was no striker, so the coach pushed me up. Eric Coleman was our coach at the time, pushed me up. I proved the management of Hekari United I can do it up in front. So I think there's a lot of distance covering right now, for just up in front, just a little bit of distance, so I can just run. I have a lot of energy to score goals.
Hekari are currently fighting on two fronts as they have for the past few seasons. The campaign in the domestic NSL is going on track, but that is to be expected with the quality they possess. But for Coach Jerry Allen and manageress, the target has always been the Oceania Champions League platform that Upaiga is familiar with.
And for the national team, it will be a great honor to lead the boys to playing right in front of my home crowd.
Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
To cricket now, and the Hebo PNG Barramundis were bowled out for 200 in their second innings on their final game day to lose by 145 runs against Ireland in the round 3 of the Intercontinental Cup in Townsville, Australia. Starting the day at 1 for 50 with a first innings centurion of Asad Vala and Vani Vagi Moria at the crease.
Vala and Moria started steadily before Team Motau took the prized wicket of Vala to leave the Hebao PNG Barramundis at 2 to 64. Moria and Maharu Dai fell shortly after to leave the Hebao PNG Barramundis in trouble at 4 to 83. Charles Amini Jr. tried to win back the momentum from Ireland with some aggressive batting before stumping off by Andrew McBrien for 16. Captain Jack Vare then joined Sese Bao to take the Hebao PNG Barramundis to 231 at lunch. After lunch, Vare and Bao batted very sensibly to take the scores to 172 before Bao was clean bowled by Rankin for 45. Rankin then trapped Vare soon after for 31. And when Norman Vanua was caught behind for a duck, Rankin had taken 3 wickets in the space of 14 balls to have the Hebao PNG Barramundis reeling at 275. Some lower order hitting by John Roger Reva could not stop the inevitable, with the Hebao PNG Barramundis being bowled out for 200 just before tea. Barramundis captain Jack Vara said the team is very disappointed. Barramundis captain Jack Vara said the team is very disappointed with losing to Ireland, but despite it all, his team played some aggressive cricket and will once again take positives from this match, with standouts such as Norman Vanua with an impressive bowling effort in the first innings, and Asad Vala once again showed his class this match, bringing up his second century in the I-Cup in 3 matches. After notching up their 3rd victory in as many matches, Ireland sit top of the I-Cup points table on 60 points, while Hebao PNG Barramundis are currently sitting in 6th place with 20 points. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. New Zealand stun home crowd with victory. Kelly Slater back at the winner's circle, and Wayne Bennett is coaching England for the World Cup. That after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. It was a nail-biting final between New Zealand and South Africa in the grand final of the Wellington Sevens, but with dominant support in the stands, the man in black went up for an upset. With a final score of 24-21 and a try which was scored on the final hooter, New Zealand sealed the first victory for 2016 in the HSBC World 7 Series and the first one to date since 2015.
Their first win in the 2015-2016 HSBC World 7 Series has boosted them up to 3rd place on the table, behind South Africa in 1st and Fiji sealing the 2nd spot. A massive achievement for the country, which reigns worldwide in the 15s format. The best result to date, but not an easy task.
Sinatla in the midfield. Quacker Smith goes off on another run.
South Africa led 21-7 by half-time, putting New Zealand under immense pressure. But brilliant play from Sibelo Senatla after picking up a misdirected offload by Sonny Bill Williams early in the 2nd spell, allowing Cheslin Coble to register his 3rd conversion.
Picked up by Hawkart. Sinatla. And the Blitzbox strike again.
A yellow card to Speckman, however, only prompted the Kiwis to improve their performance. With little time remaining, Reiko Loane scored twice in quick succession.
Rico Ioane heading for the corner. He's there.
Before Joe Webber scored the winning try on the final whistle.
Webber scores. New Zealand steal it.
New Zealand will be looking to maintain their winning streak at the Sydney Sevens this weekend as a build-up to the 2016 Rio Olympics. Dion Kombang, National EMTV Sports.
To surfing, an 11-time world champion Kelly Slater won the Volcom Pipe Pro Surfing Contest on the Banzai Pipeline of Oahu's North Shore in Honolulu, Hawaii. The American professional surfer, known for his competitive skill and style, has been crowned World Surf League champion a record 11 times, including 5 consecutive titles.
The U.S. surfer, who celebrates his 44th birthday next week, took his first win in 2 years halfway through the 30-minute final, as all contestants enjoyed fine 8 to 12-foot waves on the reef. Slater was given top scores of 8.73 and 7.83 for his win. Slater said he was relieved to have taken another win after such a long drought.
My favorite moment of this contest when the buzzer went and I was in first place. It was just so satisfying to surf such good waves and actually win. And you know, and like I said, I haven't won in a long time, so I was just really relieved, and it's one of those ones I'm gonna look back on and go, gosh, I can't believe we got those waves and I got first place.
The event was a qualifier for this season's World Surf League, which starts next month on the Gold Coast, Australia. Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
While there had been speculation on Wayne Bennett joining the PNG Commonwealth following the resignation of Mal Meninga, it has been made known to the entire rugby league fraternity his appointment to replace Stephen McNamara to take up the role as English coach for the Four Nations Series and the Rugby League World Cup. Despite Bennett being hired as England's coach, his role as the Brisbane Broncos coach still remains.
England's Rugby Football League Chief Executive Nigel Wood said Wayne Bennett is quite rightly regarded as the outstanding coach of this generation and is pleased to have him in charge of England. The England team has made great progress over the last few years and now possess world-class players across all positions. Bennett has been impressed with the ambition and energy demonstrated by the team and looks forward to working with a group of players he believes will make it onto the international stage. Now he is set to go up against Stephen Kearney and Mal Meninga, the man who beat him to the current Kangaroos job, when England hosts the Four Nations Series in October and November. The announcement means that England's cricket, rugby union and rugby league teams are now all coached by Australians in the form of Trevor Bayliss, Eddie Jones and now Wayne Bennett. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Don't go away. Up next, you weather details for the next 24 hours.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
Here's a quick look at the weather for the next 24 hours. First of all, in the southern region, showers expected across the region, but mostly fine in Alotau. To the Momasi region, showers and rain with occasional thunderstorms in Lae and Wewak, thunderstorms in Madang, and showers developing to rain in Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, showers and rain expected in Lorangau, Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, showers and thunderstorms in Kimbe, and rain with thunderstorms in Buka. And in the Highlands region, all major centres to experience occasional showers and thunderstorms with morning fog. Before we go, recapping our top stories for tonight. Health Department steps up fight against TB and malaria. PNG citizenship one step closer for West Papuans. And amateur video of policemen asking for bribe goes viral on social media. And that's the news, sports and weather we have for you for tonight, Thursday, the 4th of February 2016. On behalf of the entire EMTV News team, I'm Mary Botulo. Pleasant viewing. Good night.